What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I got some pretty big, important news for you guys today. Most of you already probably know about it since I'm making this video kind of late in comparison to the rest of the world, but it is huge news, and one of the rare times that I'm going to say the Dolphins actually made a good decision, and that is that they signed Jerome Baker to a 3-year contract extension. Now, we're going to get into that. Ironically enough, a couple of the other times that I said the Dolphins made good decisions was when they signed a couple of other former Gase picks, and that was Jason Sanders and Xavier Howard, right? When they signed both of them to their contract extensions in recent memory, I gave them tons of credit for it because, you know, that was the smart thing to do, and because they're all really good players. Gase knew his shit and knew how to player evaluate, knew how to develop, and knew how to get the right guys in there. So it's smart that he's bringing back those guys, since apparently his regime and his staff can't seem to figure that out for themselves. Anyway, so Jerome Baker did get, now it does, you know, we are going to take a look at this and get into the details, and it does, you know, there are some other parts of this conversation that goes into it, cap, you know, and then also some of the other guys that are looking to get contract extensions as well. So Jerome Baker and Dolphins agreed a 3-year, $39 million contract extension with $28.4 million guaranteed. Real quick, the one thing about Xavier Howard's contract that I wasn't really, excited about, there's actually two things. One is that the big thing is that they made his contract trade friendly to other teams in case they wanted to trade him away, which is stupid. And in other words, like, they would be the ones to have to eat some of the money, or, you know, something along those lines, right? They made it so that way other teams wouldn't have to take on too much, but also they love to front load these contracts as well. And this actually is another example, because they are giving him a ton of guaranteed money up front. So that is also somewhat problematic when it comes to cap situations and for things like trades, because then that means, you know, if you were to trade the player at some point, like for example Xavier Howard, which is definitely a possibility, then you know, you've already paid out pretty much all the contract, and the team that's receiving that player has far less to pay. Anyway, the Miami Dolphins signed linebacker Jerome Baker to a 3-year, $39 million extension on Sunday, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. The 24-year-old Ohio State product is entering the final year of his rookie contract and was scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent after earning $2.43 million this season, which, by the way, over the cap, I'll get into this in a minute, but overthecap.com, who most people tend to get their, you know, cap statistics from, has not factored this in yet, but we'll get to that in a minute. His extension carries $28.4 million guaranteed, more than 7 times the amount he earned on his first contract. Baker's coming off his best year yet, playing all 16 games, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so this is good, and it's also good in regard to the timing of it, because you know, not only do they have Jerome Baker, who happens to be one of their best players on the team, period, but and not only do they have him, you know, signed for the next 3 years, but they actually got it done before you know, him testing free agency and driving up the market. Now, there are a couple other aspects, though, to this story that are important to think about and to talk about. One of which is the cap situation. So the team is currently sitting at $7 million before adding in Jerome Baker's contract extension, and they still have 3 rookies that they need to sign. Javon Holland, Liam Eichenberg, and Hunter Long. All 3 need to still sign their contracts. So the Dolphins have almost no cap space. It will be interesting to see what it actually ends up being after this gets factored in, but Over the Cap has not done that yet, so I don't know. But they're only sitting at $7 million, so it's probably going to drop pretty considerably, and they still have to sign their draft picks. So again, anybody who says the Dolphins are good in cap with their cap situation is just not accurate, because they're not. They are actually in pretty bad cap situation and have like almost no money. And not to mention with the way that, and to the other, to the other part of this conversation is they have a bunch of players, they still have other players this year like Mike Gesicki or whatever, and a few others that need, are going to be looking for contract extensions. They're going to have more players next year. And then in the next, over the next 2 or 3 years, you would expect them to be re-signing, their own draft picks, like maybe Tua, Christian Wilkins, I don't know, some of these offensive linemen that they've signed, maybe Jalen Waddle, I don't know why I stumbled on that, Jalen Waddle or Jalen Phillips, right? So over the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to have more cascading numbers of guys that are going to be looking for contract extensions, and probably, decent sized ones, or at the very least they will be looking for decent sized contracts if the team ends up doing well, and if they do, if the players perform well as well. So that's really, so where some of the concerns will lie when it comes to this situation. So for sure, overall it's great that they signed Jerome Baker, and I love that. They are paying him quite a bit of money, and a lot of it is up front. I think he overall deserves it, but the cap situation is pretty hellish, and they do have pretty big decisions to make when it comes to others. Now, are they going to pay Mike Gesicki? I don't know. I think they should. I think they should, get him done sooner rather than later. But, Hunter Long does bring that into question, right? The pick of Hunter Long in the 3rd round does bring that into question. So maybe they let Gesicki go, because they do have pretty big major cap savings moves that they're going to have to do at some point, man. Like, this is just not going to be sustainable. They can't just keep because pretty soon they're going to be in the negatives. Pretty soon they're going to be in the negatives with cap space. And real quick, looking at the highest paid from overthecap.com, Byron Jones is the highest paid player on the team, and he actually didn't really have all that great of a season. I wonder, let's see if I can find it really quick. I don't know. I read an article the other day. I don't remember where it was from, but I read some article that was talking about Byron Jones's stats, and he didn't really even have very good stats last year. He really wasn't all that good. And obviously X is significantly better than him. He has the 2nd highest cap hit, and then Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Emmanuel Ogbah, Benardrick McKinney, Tua, Eric Rowe, Albert Wilson, and so on and so forth. So they're gonna have to get rid of, they're gonna have to do something, and it concerns me as to what they're gonna end up having to do, because I feel like, especially with things like Xavier Howard's situation going on right now, I feel like there is a substantial possibility that it ends up being him that gets traded or let go, right? Now, me personally, I would go Byron Jones unquestionably first. I would get rid of him before Xavier Howard in a heartbeat. However, it's the contract situation with Xavier Howard that makes him the slightly more likely to be targeted in this situation, and it's worrisome. So anyway, that's really all I got. There's not a lot other than that, and so I'm gonna wrap it up, but I did want to get that out to you guys. It is huge news, and like I said, overall really great news. There is maybe a slight argument that you could have that they overpaid him a little bit, whatever. The biggest concern overall to me, and it really has nothing to do with this contract in particular, but the bigger concerns to me are the overall cap situation, which is entirely their own fault, because they, just They spent like over 100 to 150 million last offseason, right? With the big name free agents, including Byron Jones, and they don't know how to fucking manage this shit properly at all. They're terrible at it. And they have almost no cap space. And then the other concern for me is the other contract situations that will likely, deteriorate because of this. Does make, because of this situation, the overall cap space and the pick of Hunter Long, it makes signing Gesicki even less likely. And, the situations regarding Xavier Howard, that's a tricky situation to deal with as well, and one that concerns me. All right, with that, I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. And of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. With that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.